They say Norway is one of the best places on earth to live. Beautiful. Wealthy. Peaceful. But what if I told you that underneath all that perfection, there's a storm? A quiet storm inside people's minds. What if happiness was just a mask? Imagine living in a place where the sun disappears for 2 entire months. Where daylight doesn't come, and night becomes your only reality. Where silence is louder than any noise, and the cold doesn't just touch your skin, it enters your soul. This is not a thriller story. This is Norway. A country known for joy, but silently drowning in depression and anxiety. Behind every smile in Oslo, behind every snowy postcard from Bergen, someone might be struggling to get out of bed, to breathe, to feel alive. This is not a personal problem anymore. In Norway, depression is becoming a national illness, and no one's talking about it. But today, we are. Depression and anxiety are not just personal struggles here, they are cultural conditions shaped by nature, isolation, and quiet suffering. In the land of the midnight sun and polar nights, the mind becomes both sanctuary and prison. Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is just one face of the storm. Winter in Norway is not just about snow and skiing, it's about 20 hours of daily darkness, social withdrawal, emotional numbness, and the quiet pressure to appear strong. Let us first understand what depression and anxiety truly mean in the context of Norway. Depression is more than sadness. It is a numbness that seeps into every thought, a weight pressing on the soul. In Norway, it often starts subtly. You stop answering texts, then you stop reaching out, and then you stop hoping. The isolation becomes more than physical, it becomes emotional. Anxiety, on the other hand, is not just worry, it's the suffocating fear of the future, of not being enough, of not belonging. Imagine walking through a silent forest where every step echoes doubt. That's how anxiety feels, especially in the silence of a Norwegian winter. And what causes these mental storms to take hold in such an advanced society? There are 5 major health-related conditions that often walk hand in hand with depression and anxiety in Norway. Insomnia, long nights and the disrupted circadian rhythm make it hard for the brain to maintain healthy sleep cycles. Sleep deprivation is one of the leading triggers of mood disorders. Chronic fatigue syndrome, the lack of sunlight and vitamin D can lead to a deep physical exhaustion, further feeding depressive states. Social isolation, despite strong communities, individualism in Nordic culture can lead to a feeling of being emotionally unsupported, especially during winter. Substance abuse, alcohol and prescription drug use often rise during the dark months, sometimes as coping mechanisms. Cardiovascular and autoimmune disorders, chronic stress from untreated anxiety and depression weakens the immune system, making the body vulnerable to inflammatory diseases. And here's the cold truth. According to the Norwegian Institute of Public Health, approximately 1 in 5 Norwegians will experience a diagnosable mental health disorder in their lifetime, with depression and anxiety being the most common. That's over 20% of the population, a silent epidemic in one of the wealthiest nations on earth. So, what makes it worse in Norway? Why here, of all places? One word: darkness. In regions like Tromsø and Longyearbyen, the sun disappears completely for months. This lack of natural light disrupts the body's serotonin levels, the neurotransmitter responsible for mood balance. Vitamin D levels plummet. Melatonin production spikes. People feel tired all day, yet can't sleep at night. Add to that the biting cold, which discourages outdoor activity, and the cultural tendency to avoid deep emotional conversations, and what you get is a nation silently suffering under a weighted blanket of winter. But there is hope. There is always hope. Understanding how to heal from depression and anxiety requires a holistic approach in Norway. Psychotherapy is one of the most widely recommended methods, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which is offered freely in many municipalities. These sessions aim to retrain the mind, to replace harmful thought patterns with healthier ones. Medications like SSRIs and SNRIs are also common and can be very effective when monitored by professionals. However, medication alone is not the full answer. Recovery demands structure. It demands lifestyle changes. Nutrition plays a surprisingly large role in mental health. In Norway, diets rich in fatty fish, whole grains, and vegetables are recommended not just for physical health, but for brain function. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in salmon and mackerel, have been proven to reduce symptoms of depression. Cutting back on sugar and alcohol also helps reduce mood swings and anxiety attacks. Then there's light therapy, one of the most impactful tools for treating seasonal affective disorder. Sitting in front of a specialized light box for 20 to 30 minutes a day mimics sunlight and helps regulate serotonin and melatonin production. These lamps are now found in many Norwegian homes and hospitals during the winter months. And let's not forget physical movement. In a country filled with mountains and lakes, even a simple walk during daylight hours, if available, can uplift mental well-being. Exercise releases endorphins, combats fatigue, and helps regulate mood. What about prevention? Early diagnosis is crucial. In Norway, free mental health screenings are available, especially for youth and university students. Many are encouraged to talk to their doctors not only about physical ailments but emotional states. The goal is to catch the signs early, before they deepen into chronic conditions. Social support is another pillar. While Norwegians may be known for their reserved nature, the culture is slowly shifting. Support groups, online therapy apps, and workplace wellness programs are making it easier to open up and seek help. The question arises, does age play a role in vulnerability? Absolutely. Adolescents and young adults are increasingly affected, particularly due to academic pressure and the loneliness that can accompany early independence. Elderly citizens also face high risks, especially those living alone in rural areas. And immigrants, struggling with cultural adaptation and limited sunlight, are particularly vulnerable. Mental health doesn't discriminate, but the experience of it changes with age and context. Anxiety and depression are deeply complex and uniquely personal, but they are not unbeatable. And while living in a country like Norway presents specific environmental challenges, the tools for healing are equally powerful. So what can you do? If you're living in Norway or any country with long winters, here are practical things you can begin doing today. Start your morning with light therapy. Eat meals that feed your brain, not just your hunger. Move your body, even when your mind resists. Speak, even if it feels easier to stay silent. Seek help, because suffering in silence is not strength. Write down what you're grateful for, no matter how small. Limit social media, it is not a replacement for real connection. Create small daily rituals that bring calmness. And if someone you love is suffering, reach out. Ask the hard questions. Offer presence, not just advice. Let them know they are not alone. Healing takes time, but it begins with understanding. Depression and anxiety are not failures of character. They are conditions of the human brain, especially under difficult conditions like those in the far north. Let us be a little more gentle with ourselves. Let us see beyond the snowy streets and quiet cafes of Oslo. Let us look inside the homes of those sitting alone in the darkness. And let us not forget, even in the deepest winters, spring always returns. This is your gentle reminder that taking care of your mind is not a luxury, it is a necessity. And if this message touched your heart, if you believe someone out there needs to hear this, please, share it. Share it with your friend who hasn't smiled in weeks. With your brother who says he's just tired. With your neighbor who always closes the curtains. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about real healing. And let's break the silence, together. Watch more videos like this one on Smart Nature Care, the channel dedicated to helping you protect your mind, your body, and your peace. Subscribe now, and share this video with everyone you care about. This might just be the gift someone needs, a message of hope this holiday season. You are not alone. And you never have to be.